Andrew Pergoliti from Harvey Citrus, citrus grower in Harvey, Western Australia. We grow about 80 hectares of citrus, mandarins, oranges, lemons, limes, grapefruit. We're here at our initial planting of Aphoras. It's our C35 rootstock block. These were planted probably about 15 years ago. Probably, for the first, say, 6 to 7, 8 years, I don't think we even pruned the trees. So they became these big walls of hedges that had no fruit down below, and it was a bit of a nightmare. So probably the last 5 or so years, it's a gradual process of bringing them down, opening them up. Haven't quite mastered it yet, but it's a work in progress. Some sections are a bit too open, but there's some big branches that still need to come out. So you can see all the new growth. So we've hedged it, so there's no fruit up high, but we've got fruit everywhere below. Probably after this year's harvest, we'll start working on some of these big whippy ones coming out and just shape it a bit more. But yeah, it was just really hard work. I think those initial years, just taking all the fruit that come off it, it was great. And then we just hit a brick wall.
And it's been 5 years to gradually bring those trees down.
Yeah.
So firstly, you said there was a lot of green fruit down below. Was there much fruit down below, firstly?
Not a great deal, no.
And most of it was up high?
Yeah, we had no light. There was no light penetration at all.
It was just a dark forest down the bottom. You mentioned most of the fruit were up the top, and what kind of quality were they up the top there?
Terrible. Just getting bashed around with the wind, and it wasn't good at all.
It was just a dark forest in there, so now you've got fruit all around there. You never used to see the amount of fruit that you see here.
No, you couldn't even see through to the next row. It was that bad. And you can see we've gone pretty harsh, probably too harsh on some spots, but yeah, we had to make some big changes.
And how's the fruit size this year? Are you happy with the way the crop is?
Yeah, no, it looks good. Look, we've got consistent fruit in, out, both sides. There's obviously patches of green, but they're quite low, but they'll still colour up. Size is good. But again, there's a lot more pruning to be done this year.
So I can imagine those first few years you must have spent more than at least 3 or 5 minutes a tree taking out those big inner limbs. And I think we can see one of those cuts right here that you did there. So it must have been a lot of effort to cut them down, but now it's a lot easier to manage.
Yeah.
From this time onwards.
Yeah, no, definitely easier now. And I think the early days, if we were doing any type of pruning, it wouldn't have taken as long. But yeah, we didn't do anything for a lot of the initial years at all.
So this next season, what kind of limbs you might be taking out here?
A lot of this this big whippy thing that's come down, that'll get that chopped stuff that's going towards the ground. There is still a lot of big, thick branches that can be brought down. We're just trying to compact it a bit and just have good quality internally, without, looking down the row, you can see it all encroaching. So yeah, a lot of the whippy branches. I think the height's not bad now. Obviously thinning out some of the bigger branches, but the height's manageable. So yeah.
And it's a spring prune straight after harvest, which would be August that you'd get in here and prune?
Yeah. Yep.
August?
Or probably even later. It depends on how late we hold this fruit for.
And then would you come back and now manage the regrowth that comes back from these trees?
Yeah, this one's even worse than the try. Like, these would be at least 3 to 4 times a year we come back through here and pull out a lot of this regrowth.
So you can just demonstrate, I think there's some regrowth in there.
Yeah.
Just show us what would you do?
So a lot of this stuff, just pulling that out. And depends on where we want fruit to grow. Like you can see that was probably a growth, but we've left that. And that might, that'll fruit in a couple of years or a year or so. But a lot of this stuff would probably remove.
You probably thin it out, some of that
stuff
in front of you?
Yeah,
just give it a quick demo how you might thin that one out and leave some behind, I assume.
Yeah, probably just sparingly, just leave some of it. We wouldn't leave a lot.
Just that much, you take most of it, that's most.
We
just
would.
Leave that.
Yeah, no, honestly, wouldn't leave too much. And probably pull these ones out.
And so for you, that big prune that went in and bringing the trees down has been well worthwhile as in cropping and fruit size and colour and everything.
Yeah, well you can see here it's pretty consistent, good size. Some patches have got a bit smaller fruit, but overall it's pretty good. Yeah, and again, nothing way too high that the guys are spending too much time on the ladder.